This form has two obvious verticals on its edge of illumination. Here's a little model. So this is our shadow edge, this is our edge of illumination, this represents the light half, okay? We only get two of these points. There's going to be one on this side and one on this side. But we really need to find them because that's going to tell us where we get a really important transitional shadow. So the way you're going to find that is take your ruler and place it on the vertical, the vanishing point of shadow, our VPS, okay? And you want to hold it in place so that it can slide without moving off that dot. I'm going to use this to kind of slide up to meet my ellipse on the bottom. Here's a close-up. We're going to indicate this point of contact because that will be the base of our very important vertical edge of shadow or terminator or edge of illumination. So I'm marking that right there. The nature of this form is such that the opposite vertical is going to be located diametrically across this elliptical face. And that means we can find that by going from here through the center of our ellipse until we hit the other side. So you take your ruler, we come through the center. So this will be the ground point of the vertical edge of illumination on that side. Because they need to be vertical, we get our triangle out. I am using the horizon line to ensure I get a good vertical. Oh, I lined it up really nicely. Okay, once you feel like you found your vertical, we need to trace this line, okay? Because this point will correspond with that point and help us plot our shadow. We do the same with this back guy. Back to the horizon line with the top of our triangle, coming down with a straight vertical, and we connect up at that back edge. Cool. Okay, now that we know this, we should indicate our edge of illumination because things get a little complicated here. And I'm showing where our form will be creating a shadow from. We also have this guy, and we have this guy, even though it's through the form. At this point, we're going to follow the same process that we did here. So we're going to be connecting lines from our VPL, vanishing point of light, through the top edge of our edge of illumination. Then we're going to use verticals to locate their corresponding ground points. Just to show you where we're going with this, I'm going to take my ruler and line it up to the vanishing point of light, basically creating rays along this line, right? We have 2 points. We have this one, and those are really handy. And then within this space, we need to just choose a few extra in order to help us make this kind of connect the dot situation on the ground. I don't have a real scientific method for choosing where, but this is a point that I want to go through. I'll choose this as a point that I want to go through. To avoid confusion, I'll choose this a point instead of this one. You know what I mean? Let's go here. We need to get some stuff back here because that's going to get really confusing. I know I'm going to draw verticals, so I don't want anybody that's right on top here. For confusion's sake, let's say we go here, and we'll go here. Let's see if that gives us enough information. What did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 extra. That should be helpful. Here's a quick trick. It's going to be off screen, but it's going to really help you. We're going to use our triangle to find all these plumb lines within this. So I recommend you take your ruler, because you're not going to need it for a second, and you line that up along your horizon line and hold it down. Then you can slide this up against here and go back and forth without having to like pick this up and check it and eyeball it, okay? So I am placing my ruler as a guide along the horizon line. And I'm picking up my triangle. Hold that ruler in place so that the triangle can slide and give us infinite true verticals. Okay, I'm picking up my pencil. We have this one. I want to come through this point that I chose, and I'm dropping a vertical to its corresponding point on the ground. Draw that point. Connect that line. We're doing the same here. Draw my point, connect the line. This guy too. I do recommend finding each point as you go. Otherwise, you can get confused as to who goes where. Like, for example, this is coming from that back edge, so it's only going to come down to here. So I found my point, find the ground point. I stop there. That's my vertical. Okay, now this one is on this back edge again. So I find my point, find the ground point, drop my vertical. Okay, I got one more and it's really close to the edge. It's on the back edge, so here's my point, there's my line. Okay, now, take your long ruler. We are doing the same thing here, where we connect our light ray through this top edge and find where that line intersects with our vanishing point of shadow. Make sure my light ray pencil is very sharp. I recommend going in order here, like find this point, find this guy, find this one, just so you don't get confused. I'll start back here. So I go vanishing point of light through my very first point. Okay, there she is. Now, I go through my vanishing point of shadow and the ground point for this corresponding edge. Cool. We got one point. That's exciting. I'll mark it. Let's do this guy. Vanishing point of light, edge of illumination. Now we go over to the shadow vanishing point, VPS, and the corresponding ground point, which is right there. It's going to be pretty close to my other line, which happens. Okay, but look what a difference that made. So here's my next point. Okay, we keep rolling. We're finding that one. Vanishing point of light. Top edge of our vertical. Here's my light ray. Run it over to the vanishing point of shadow. find that corresponding ground point. We draw that edge. We just found another intersection. So it was this guy to this guy. You can see how it gets pretty confusing if you don't mark them as you go. All right, this is our next one, which is fun because we're moving around the curve. Vanishing point of light. Top edge of illumination. Corresponding ground point. Remember, we're here. Follow that line down to here. Things are getting very spaced out. Gotta find it. Things are getting confusing. Cool. Just checking again. Okay. Now, we're doing this one. I think I gotta sharpen my light ray again. Okay. Vanishing point of light. Top edge of shadow. Coming down. Okay. I find my ground point. That's over here. Come through the vanishing point of shadow. Okay. We mark our intersection. So, it's over here. Okay. We're almost done. Just a few more. Mark it. Last one. It's the big one. It's our shadow terminator. Okay. The final point. Cool. This intersects here. Okay, now if we look at this like a connect the dots, it's making an ellipse, which makes sense because this was formed by an ellipse. If I wanted to be really precise, I would notice this kind of gap here and then following my edges, maybe try to add somebody here. But I think we can handle this. So we're going to take our pencil and trace our shadow. Remember what we know about an ellipse, and that's there's no pointy edges and there's no flat edges. So between here, I know there's going to be a curve. Maybe more than I gave it. All right. Oh, that's so satisfying. Okay. Now remember, we should trace in our straight edges because those were formed by these trusty verticals. Don't forget them. Okay. All right. Oh, it's so cool. And then for all of us, I'm going to color in our cast shadow.